Well, hello there, and I do hope you're all well. Now, this is a video that's going to be broken up into many segments because, for the simple reason, it takes a long time, and this is an absolute pearler. When I was watching it, I was stumped for half an hour. I think it just shows the whole absolute shit show Brexit is. Now, this was a international trade committee. And the one they were questioning was, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, MP, Secretary of State for International Trade Department for International Trade. Now, clearly, right from the offset, this is somebody, now I'm asking, is she just been going out of her way to be, how can I put it? To be unable to provide answers, or just basically obfuscating, or is she just clearly out of her depth? Now, the reason why this is going to take a long, because this is the first question, and this lasts for half an hour of her obfuscating, clicking a pen. Now, I don't know what that means in body language, but she was constantly clicking it. And what I will do, this starts with Angus Brendan McNeil, I think that's his name, yeah. I think he's the chairman of this International Trade Committee. And he starts off, right from the offset, asking something, asking for a question about given 15 days so they can scrutinize it. And let's just say Anne-Marie Trevelyan is rather either out of her depth or she's just obfuscating. Watch with interest.
International Trade Committee's inquiry on the work of the Department for International Trade. And for our evidence session, we have the Secretary of State, Anne-Marie Trevelyan. I don't know if the Secretary of State wants to introduce herself in any further terms, or should we crack on?
Thank you very much, Chair. It's a pleasure to be here. Apologies about my ill health last week. I'm glad to say I'm better, which is good for everything. And just really a pleasure to have the chance to, discuss with you, the...
House says she were apologising for being a bit under the... Was she? Or was it case, I don't really fancy any of that. I'll just throw a sickie in. Who knows?
Many areas that we're very busy on in the department. We have been particularly busy in the last couple of days. We've had my counterpart, Ambassador Catherine Tighe, here in the UK. We took her to Aberdeen and then to a number of London businesses yesterday to help continue the trade dialogues that we started in Baltimore a month ago. I think we're making really good progress thinking about how we can tackle and grow that already very spectacular 200 billion bilateral trade. So that's been a really important focus and will continue to be in the months ahead. But I look forward to talking to you about all the other things that we're doing too.
Look forward to speaking about all the other wonderful things. Just make a keynote of that.
Thank you. Okay, Secretary of State, I don't really want to get off on this foot, but we might as well clear the air as best we can. As you know, there's been a lot of tensions between this committee and your department from a staff and a member level.
Wonder why.
Really around the timings and the sort of promises around the Australia FTA scrutiny. We had assurances way back that we were going to be given enough time, adequate time. These assurances, as we tried to nail them down, sort of seem to evaporate somewhat or become uncertain. So we want to know, essentially, that we'll have 15 days between the government doing the publishing the Section 42 and the triggering of CRAG, minimum. You can give us more if you want, but 15 days is what we're looking for. And that would really help the work of the committee.
Seems quite a reasonable thing to ask, don't you?
So, thank you, Joe. I completely, understand the request you're making, and exactly as you say, I want to be able to give you as much time as possible. I don't have the Section 42 report yet. The team are working on it, and I don't actually have a date when it will be ready for me yet. So in that sense,
that's okay, and we don't
No,
need,
no, absolutely.
we don't need
But
as much time as possible. We just need 15 days.
yeah, I know you do. But the challenge is that I don't want to commit to a fixed timetable. In that I don't want to, let you down, or I hope that it will be more. But the challenge we've got.
If we don't get the 15 days, because there are telephone directories worth of stuff here for members and particularly staff to get through, and 15 days is a very reasonable ask.
But so I think that the challenge I would throw back at you is that you already have probably 90% of all the documentation that we have. Obviously, we publish the text immediately, which is indeed the great big tome.
Yesterday we had Professor Lauren Bartels with us. He was the chair of the TAC, as you know.
Indeed.
We asked him how long he had. He said he had 3 months. He said his work was part of the scrutiny to inform this committee.
Yep.
Onwards, and then he said they had the Christmas recess. He said so the department given another fortnight, almost 15 days. So there was 3 months and 15 days. 3 months and 15 days. To do part of the scrutiny work and to mop up at the end. We're looking for the government to honour the commitments that there will be adequate time given for the consideration. I mean, if we've been serious about the FTAs, we've been serious about the scrutiny, and we've been serious as a committee about doing this, we're needing the department to be serious back to us. Wouldn't you be serious?
I hear you completely, but so I cannot commit to a fixed period of time. Well, because it depends on the parliamentary timetable. The reality is, so both the Section 42 and CRAG have to take place during sitting time. So because I can't commit to a fixed time between those two.
So are you telling us that you're going to trigger CRAG on this Australia FTA before parliamentary scrutiny is done? Because basically government just riding roughshod over this. They don't
Not
care.
at all, but CRAG isn't...
Now, when I listened to this, my thought was basically, is she that out of her depth, or is she doing it on a purpose? Because, when somebody's completely out of their depth, they seem to talk so much, but make little sense. And this is Anne-Marie Trevelyan in a nutshell. And you can tell, clearly, he's getting frustrated because they just want a straight answer. And you've got to admit, this went on for half an hour. And this is the first bit of scrutiny.
We're going to be laying legislation, Angus, in order to bring the FTA, into action. So there will be plenty of time, and it may well be once we get to the new session that there is time. I don't know what the schedule is, so I have not seen the timetable of.
How do you think it looks to stakeholders if between Parliament and government? We can't have the scrutiny done. This could be through Parliament and done before the scrutiny is finished.
Well, I don't think it will, but my point is exactly
but
as
you don't think, but we want to make sure it's not. And this is why we need our 15 days from the DIC.
So I can say what you're saying. In the same way that you set out that Dr. Bartels was given 3 months, the committee has also had all the text, and indeed the Dr. Bartels' report, the TAC report. You had it pretty much a week before it was published. So you have had everything available to you and your team to be able to scrutinise. In fact, for as long and indeed longer than they have had to do their report, which is obviously one part of the scrutiny process. And as soon as the Section 42 report is completed, I will make sure that it's in your hand as quickly as I can.
But our work builds on that, and it can't be done in parallel completely. So therefore we have to need the time after that. Now, the Australian Prime Minister, as you know, has called it a general election in Australia, and Parliament, which is all the 11th of April. I mean, surely that's going to be delayed ratification of the UK-Australia FTA. I mean, at least if you can't set the mood music, can we dance to Australia's tune on this and realise that it's going to be later and give some comfort to the committee and to the staff that we will have the time to do the work?
So the Australians process, obviously, as you say, they're into an election period now, but there has been, and I have no doubt of the confidence, there will continue to be very much cross-party support from the Australian side. Their process is quicker for bringing the treaty into action than ours is anyway. So we are the ones who will be the last part by the time the legislation has come in and been through the various stages that our legislation takes here. So their process, even though as you say, everything will be paused whilst they go through their election, their process for ratification will be quicker than ours will be anyway.
I mean, we're getting stonewalling on the 15 days here.
Angus, if I could, I would, but I simply can't because I don't know yet what the parliamentary timetable will look like in the third session. I hope very much that it will be at least, if not more, but I don't want to give you a commitment that I can't meet if the parliamentary timetable that comes through means that we.
So the parliamentary timetable rides roughshod over the scrutiny.
Well, it
by
doesn't
the one
because-
words from the government and your predecessors.
But there will continue to be plenty of time because the legislation for bringing the FTA into force will run for a number of months. So there will be plenty more time and indeed opportunities for obviously your committee, but all parliamentarians to share their views and anything they wish to highlight through that process. So, I'm comfortable that there will be plenty of time for engagement, and that as soon as you have the Section 42 report, once I've had it too, the chance for you to look at it and follow the formal processes that you wish to do in publishing your own report.
To clarify, do you have any idea in mind of when the government might publish the Section 42 report?
I hope in the coming weeks. I haven't got a fixed timetable, but the team are working at pace, which is what I have asked them to do, precisely because I want us to be able to have all of this, all the tools, all the various scrutiny tools there as soon as possible.
One of the things to help us move at pace, we're looking to have you here tomorrow on the Australia FTA, but you or the department have refused to do that. When will you appear in front of us in this?
So yes.
I noticed the keyword "refuse to do that." I wonder why. Let's be honest here. Well, this is the second time I've watched this, and I just think this person, Marie Trevelyan, is so out of her depth, and the way she's clicking a pen proves it.
Tomorrow's logistics don't work, for which apologies, but I think that first week back, I think the week of the 9th? I'm sorry, I'm hopeless on dates. I'm sure we can find a date if that works for you. I'm very happy to come back.
Sometime before the end of May would.
Absolutely, that should be absolutely fine.
So I mean, I think if we're looking sometime for the end of May, and we're looking for a publication probably of maybe the Section 42 sometime in June, which we start.
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
And then we give us some time, probably another 2 weeks after that. You trigger CRAG after the Section 42. 2 to 3 weeks. We can start to work together with that.
Well, absolutely, and I want us very much to work together. So, which is partly why I made sure that you had the tag report as quickly, pretty much as quickly as I had it, and you had it the next day. So it gave me time to read it, and that was pretty much it. So I want to, in the exact same way, as soon as the Section 42 report is in my hands and I've read it, I will make sure that you have it in, an appropriate form.
Okay, we're in here at warm words and intentions with the government. Again, we have nothing nailed down, but we'll go with you with warm words and your intentions, and we'll take it as an honour situation for this new Secretary of State. I don't have any other members want.
We'll leave that there. So what I'll do is I shall leave what other people have to say for another video, because this will have gone on long enough. But that was painful, and if you think it gets any better, well, I think you should watch it through your fingernails. And if you voted for this, if you're happy for this, I'd be very worried, especially if you're a small to medium business, because if she has no idea what she's doing, how the hell are you going to know what you need to do? Wow. And I will watch this for a good half hour, and this first half hour was about this first question about why they're obfuscating and not producing what is required. All they want is 15 days. This is it, Section 42, and what all that. But I found that fascinating, and I will do the video on each other question, because if you think you were brutal, you ain't seen nothing yet. So, right, I shall leave the video here until the next time. I shall bid you farewell and take care.